You're listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Mike Luke, joined by the boss, Saul Bookman, looking sharp in that red collared shirt. Is that a U of A? Has it got any U of A emblems on it, Saul?
It is not, but I am repping the colors. That's all that
looks
matters.
Very, very sharp, very sharp. All right, now we got a lot to get through this show. We're going to talk tweets. We're going to talk a little bit of Keyshawn Johnson, top 5 shooting guards, some Arizona women's basketball. But first, Saul, I was thinking about this yesterday, and we talked about this a little bit last week. TJ McConnell. Is TJ McConnell the most surprising Arizona NBA success story that there's been? Because you got to remember, it's easy to say now, he wasn't even invited to the combine. He wasn't invited. He had to show up there himself. He had to do a ton of different things just to even get on the map. And now this dude's going to be in the NBA for 12 years, and LeBron is giving him praise nonstop.
I don't know if surprising for him would be the word, because if you just listen, man, it kind of felt like if he just got a chance, he was going to take every advantage of it, because he's always been a good player, but his work ethic, his tenacity, his defense, the intangibles, his being a good teammate, take him to a whole nother level. So I don't think I'm as surprised with him as I would have been like maybe somebody like a Judd Bushler for sticking around so long in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Judd Bushler,
Right.
I love you, Judd, but I didn't think you would stick around the league for, a dozen years.
Right. So, yeah, but either way, TJ, but the thing about TJ too is that TJ is just a huge difference maker out there. I mean, it's wild. He doesn't start, but you see his imprint all over the game. And it's to the point too, and Tyrese Halliburton saying, when he doesn't play well, we suffer. So, I mean, he is really counted upon. He's not, one of these dudes, and not, like I said, making any slights at Judd, but this is a dude that's counted on. And when you look at the stat line, sometimes it's 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists. Color me as being very surprised, Saul.
Well, you're just a hater. You're just a doubter. You can't doubt TJ McConnell. One thing I learned a long time ago is you don't doubt TJ McConnell. He's going to find a way. He's such a likable player. We've all loved him here at U of A. I'm so happy that he's having the success that he is. He's earned it, and I'm glad that he's finally getting the love across the country that he should have been getting this whole time. Because if you've ever played against TJ McConnell, you know how tenacious he is, and he's showing it.
Doris Burke made an interesting point during the game where she said it's amazing what he's able to do because he lacks foot speed. She is totally wrong on that, and I like Doris Burke a great deal. He is laterally about as quick as there is in the entire NBA. That is one of the reasons he is so good. Laterally, he is incredibly good. He tested out the gazoo, and Sean Miller even said that laterally he was the quickest player he's ever coached. He is much quicker than people think, Saul Bookman. I almost said Sean.
I don't know about the quickest in the NBA, but yes, he is very much suitable in terms of lateral quickness, no doubt about it. You have to be it if you're going to play guard in the NBA. Like you can't have stiff hips and low agility. Like that just is not a great recipe for success. So
would Steve Kerr been able to play in the NBA today?
Oh man, yeah, because of the 3-point shooting. I mean, like he would get even more wide open looks in today's game than he would have, 20 years ago. So yeah, I think he would have. Is
he going to be able to guard anybody though? Because at least in the past you could put him on like Howard Isley or somebody like that. Now you're going to be in a difficult spot. Could he guard anybody? He could space the court. Great point, Dennis Walsh.
No, he would have to be a nuisance. He was never a great defender even back in the day, but I think he would be okay.
All right, now let's get to a tweet that everybody is talking about. And thanks, everybody, for hopping in here. Joson Sanon. I'm getting people left and right saying this. All right, Jacob Franklin, if we could pull this tweet up very quickly. All right, great catching up with Caleb to Love in Chicago. Big news for the Big 12 on the way in Tucson. Let's get it. Saul, what say you? And then I will say my opinions.
I think this is a positive sign. I think, I think Caleb and him, the conversation could have went two ways. A, I'm not coming back and I'm going to try and test my, the NBA, even though I'm not at the combine. Like, okay. Or B, bro, come be a part of this. Like, I got you. We can do this together kind of thing. You come in, replace me off the bench. We can play a little bit together on the court. Like, maybe Caleb Love loves his game. Maybe Joson heard some great things about the school or whatever. Like I view this as a positive. I think it bodes well for Arizona that Joson was talking to Caleb Love and feels really good about the Big 12.
The only thing I'm going to say is this, and yes, it is definitely a positive, but with the tweets and with the agent, KJ Lewis' name is really never mentioned in all of this. If Joson Sanon is cool coming here and coming off the bench and being that super sixth man, I am 1,000% okay with that. As a matter of fact, that would be amazing. I mean, how many sixth men are you going to have like, Joson Sanon? I will also believe that he comes off the bench when I see it. That's where I'm at. That's the point that I'm at in this.
Why does it matter?
Because it matters for these kids.
Well, let me say this. Why is it a foregone conclusion that he would come off the bench?
Because KJ Lewis and Caleb Love would 1,000% start.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
Yeah, I do. I got to really.
Okay. All right. Well, let me just say it like this. You don't know how these kids adapt after 2 or 3 months of off-season work and practice, and how much they might actually show in order to get a starting spot, right? Like we don't know. Like sometimes, we might look at a guy and we're like, he'll be good off the bench, but he becomes like the best player. Like Larry Markkinen, for instance, right? He started from day one, but none of us thought Larry Markkinen was going to be who Larry Markkinen ended up being, right? Like, we didn't think he was going to be a first-round draft pick. We just thought he was some European kid that came in and was decent, and he was more than decent, right? So that's what I'm saying is, like, you don't know how these kids are going to adapt at the collegiate level and play at a higher level with a program like Arizona. So I never like to say, like, okay, to me, the best programs are run when nobody has a set spot. You got to compete for yours. And once you solidified yourself, then yeah, you keep it. And unless, everything crumbles, then we'll think about replacing you. But I don't believe anybody just gets a spot because they're the next line and the next one up in line. You got to earn it.
I think with Tommy Lloyd, it's a little bit different, though. I do believe that Tommy Lloyd, I'm not saying.
Yeah, but you guys have been bagging him for that. Like, look at Kylan Boswell.
I agree, but
he shouldn't have been starting any at all. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
But so, like, why this next line man up? Like, that doesn't matter to me. Like, you got to be the best player.
I totally agree, but I totally agree with you. But I am saying, though, that with Kylan Boswell, we all knew that he shouldn't have been starting by a certain point, but he was going to start because that was just what it was baked in. And I mean, that's kind of what Lloyd does. I don't believe that. And yes, KJ Lewis, Chris S. KJ Lewis is coming back. There's a wink for you. But like I said, we'll see. If he's cool coming off the bench, I would love it. I just, with the way that Miller is, with the way the coaching staff is, I'll believe that one when I see it, but I did love the tweet. That is what I will put out there. And I do expect Caleb Love back as well. That would be very, very nice. Now, looking at the Big 12, if you got Joson Sanon, Caleb Love, and KJ Lewis as your three wings, and this is why I've never understood, and I agree with the point. What's wrong with being a sixth man if you're a sixth man? You're still playing 25 minutes per game. And it's not like you're going to be playing 13, 14 minutes.
You literally have a glowing example that is going to be your starting point guard next year to exemplify that. Like, he did not start last year, but was easily the best player coming off the bench, easily the best player coming off the bench in the whole country.
Yes.
And in Jaden Bradley. So Joson, be our Jaden Bradley next year. That's a kind of a little bit of an easy selling point.
And honestly, a guy that you cover all the time, and we talked about this yesterday, Devin Booker. Devin Booker, dude that came off the bench. Now, granted, I get that Kentucky is a totally different animal, but here's the thing. You're up close to the NBA. You're in the NBA circles. You know what it looks like. But
that's the thing, though, Mike. Devin Booker came off the bench and sat behind two scrub-ass twins in the Harrison twins at Kentucky that had no business starting over Devin Booker. But why did he do it? Because those twins felt comfortable playing with each other, and they didn't want to mess up the juju, so they had Devin Booker come off the bench because it was just better for the program. And they had an elite team.
As you say, in all fairness, they won 38 straight games.
Yeah, and then they lost to Wisconsin, the same team we lost to in that same run. So
it's almost like they were promised a starting position, even though they didn't necessarily earn it, the Harrison twins.
Yeah, they were terrible.
Because
I remember watching them in high school, and I remember watching Aaron Gordon just absolutely dismantle them both when he was at what was it?
When you Archbishop, the Oakland Soldiers.
Malloy, yeah.
Yeah, Archbishop. Archbishop of Midi. And all right, so I will take it. I would love to see Joson Sanon here. I am just saying I will believe it when I see it, but I will start a my bad Joson movement if he does come here. I will say that. I would expect some very good news coming up this week as well, but not maybe as good news as Circle K. Here's the deal, Saul. I went to Circle K yesterday and I got 2 of the gallon jugs. These things are fantastic.
Even the gallon jugs.
The gallon jugs are amazing. Plus, it makes me feel strong and learned when I'm going around with these things. Very, very impressive stuff from Circle K. And another person quote tweeted me and said, dude, I just got one. These gallon jugs are fantastic. And you can be like Saul Bookman and join the inner circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details.
You know how much you can get? You know how much you can get a Thirst Buster for right now?
How much?
Come on.
69 cents.
Nice.
It's almost like I was in there. I'm just saying Circle K. By the way, I found an underrated Circle K that I very much like as well off 29th Street that I use for K. Has 9 or 10 different fuel pumps. Very, very much liked it. So Circle K, check it out. Okay, now. Wanted to ask you about this, Saul. Everybody in this day and age, we're all talking about the transfer portal and stuff, and it's totally different. I get that. I got to give Tommy Lloyd a lot of credit for how he deals with the transfer portal. Because you made a point last show. You're like, almost everybody that he's brought in has been pretty good. I mean, you see a lot of guys that bring in, and they're just not very good. Everybody, even the guys that were not necessarily highly acclaimed, your said Hendersons, your Justin Kyers, they still served a very suitable role. He's batting a pretty good percentage when it comes to this, Saul.
Yeah, he is. He's been very good about it. Better than I think Sean Miller was in the transfer portal. Now, transferring was a little bit different back when Miller was coaching here, obviously. But no, I think he's done very, very well. Like the prospects that he's come in. Again, what are you doing with players when they come into your program, and how are you getting them to excel and be better versions of themselves? And I think when you look across the board, that is undeniable in terms of what Tommy Lloyd has done. If you just look at last year and this year alone, the prospects that they had that have developed and moved on. Keyshawn Johnson is blowing up at the combine right now. Physically, from an athletic standpoint, he's just phenomenal. And I don't think a lot of teams understood how good he really is. Right. And he's going to get himself a roster spot in the NBA, guaranteed.
Right.
And that's the kind of improvement and development that you want to show. Jaden Bradley, again, like another guy. He comes in from Alabama. He gets some run over in Alabama, but he comes here and it's like, damn, he damn near beat Clemson all by himself.
Right.
Like he's that good of a player. And so I love what Tommy's been able to do with these transfers and really getting them to excel past their limitations of prior.
And the thing about it too is that he, like I said, everybody he's brought in has been able to play. Keyshawn Johnson, I was giving Murph a lot of problems for the longest time when he said, listen, before he came here, before he hit the court, he said, this dude's going to play in the NBA. And I was like, Murph, never shot a 3. Never. He's like, yeah, I know. Mike. I doubted Murph. At this time last year, I was doubting Murph. Murph slapped me away. That is the reason that Murph is the associate head coach at the University of Arizona, and I am sitting in my guest room at this point. That is why Jack. But again, he's absolutely killing it. He's going to find a spot in the NBA. Mike Luke was wrong for the millionth time. Saul Bookman.
Yeah, you were wrong on that one for sure.
Yes.
This is completely out of nowhere, and I apologize.
That's what we do on this show.
But I have to bring this up. I just want to give a shout out, and also start to question the football knowledge of one Johnny Venerable, because allegedly, he didn't even know who T-Mac was. Like
that was
Shane
Diefenbach.
No,
it was both.
Both?
No.
It was before last.
No. Shane didn't know. At this time last year, Shane 100% didn't.
Well, right now Johnny doesn't, and he's like a top 2-3 prospect in terms of the wide receiver position in the NFL draft next year.
How does he not know this?
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
This is a guy that Louis Riddick has as a top 10 pick next year.
I know. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's go back.
Holy moly. First Shane Diefenbach, but I just chalked it up to Shane's age. But now Johnny Venerable, the venerable Johnny Venerable. What's going on
here?
So
disappointed.
Oh, Saul, that is not good. We do not like that at all. But you know what? He'll find out soon enough. he'll find out soon enough. That's the best way that I can.
What's crazy about this is like that viral video of him catching the ball and going between his legs. That's been out for like months.
Right, exactly.
And like people are seeing that now, and they're like, and now all of a sudden it went viral again, and I don't understand it. And then the nerve of some people out there, and I roasted somebody yesterday for it. They were like, yeah, but what does he do on the field? Brother, have you not been watching games? He absolutely torched Travis Hunter last year. What are we doing out here?
1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. Listen, I was always biased towards Dennis Northcutt. This dude is the best wide receiver in school history. T-Mac is leaving here.
Not even close.
And it's not even close. Got to get on Johnny Venerable about that. That very much disappoints me. I very much like Johnny Venerable too. Saul, you need to get on that. Now, you know what disappoints me though? And you do the best reads of all of these, and you do these off the top of your head. OGs. Saul Bookman, make the case for OGs. I see the OGs coming out of the mind.
I mean, OGs is the best edible in the game. It's Tucson's very own OGs. Great people, great product. You're going to love it. You can't go wrong. It tastes like candy, which is almost a little dangerous because you don't want to take too many of those, obviously. But you go to ogsbrands.com, find the closest dispensary to you, take part of some RSOs, the indicas, the sativas. They got the sleepy time gummies. They got the vegan gummies. They got the mega gummies. They got everything you could possibly want. Go to ogsbrands.com to enjoy. And remember, you must enjoy responsibly, and you must be at least the age of 21 to do so.
Read like a pro, the pro that is Saul Bookman. Now, some people read off the top of their head. Others read from a script. Let me make the case for Illegal Pete's. I went to Illegal Pete's yesterday. You know what's underrated about Illegal Pete's too? You get really, really good food from there, and it is done very, very quickly as well. You don't have to sit around for like 45 minutes. You can get good food, and it is good, tasty food as well. Here's the deal. Illegal Pete's is here to bring you a win with their legendary sound check deal. Bring in your ticket stub from any ticketed event and get a draft beer or house margarita for a penny. Illegal Pete's wants to celebrate with you, whether it's a pregame or postgame party. They got you covered on all your game day needs. Must purchase an adult entree to redeem Illegal Pete's sound check deal. Illegal Pete's, your go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer. All right. Before we're going to get to a couple lists, and then we got the great Erica Day coming on as well. But ours also, Pelle Larsson. Do you see him in the NBA for a long time? And do you see him, what kind of role do you see him in?
Pella's, oh man.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. I think the slow release on the jump shot is going to be a problem. He can't really create too much off the dribble. He reminds me of maybe the Denver Nuggets player from the Kansas.
Christian Brown.
Christian Brown. He reminds me of a poor man's Christian Brown.
Yeah. See, that's where everybody goes with it. He kind of looks like him as well, too. But you got to remember, Brown had some real dog moments, though, in college, though. In the national title game, 12 rebounds. He also was a freshman when he came out. What's that?
He also was a freshman when he came out, as opposed to a guy that's been in college forever.
He thinks no, it's actually pronounced Brown to Joseph. Yeah, but with and that's the other thing too. Pelle Larsson is 23 years old. He's old even for a senior. He got into school late, obviously, spent 4 years. I don't see it mainly because of, like you said, the slow release. I also don't think that he's necessarily a confident shooter. And what I mean by is that if you're a 3-and-D guy, if you're open, you've got to take the three. There were too many times this year when Pelle would miss a three and we'd bat it back out to him and he would pass up the open shot again. I don't know that Pelle is necessarily a player that hunts his shots if he's wide open. That's got to change. We will find out. I do not see it, but Keyshawn Johnson, I do see, though. So we will find out about that. Now,
Keyshawn would be a phenomenal. Like, I always look at it in terms of the Suns. Like, could the Suns use a guy like this? Keyshawn Johnson, by a mile, we could use a guy like that. Like, geez, man, if he got on the roster, I'd be pretty excited about that. Because
you're all in on the national media trying to break up the big three in Phoenix.
I'm all in on that.
Maybe the opposite of it.
Yeah, I'm not all in on that.
See, I just don't know if you're the Suns what you do. You got to run that one back.
Well, yeah, but you can listen to our PHNX Suns show at 3:00 to hear more about that.
All right, that's called a tease. Okay, now, Saul Bookman, we are going to go, before the great Erica Day comes in, we are going to go with our top 5 shooting guards in U of A basketball history. Now, There are some young folks out here. The great Kobe Thiel. Kobe Thiel was trying to tell me that Hasan Adams was one of the 5 best shooting guards. Well, being that he never played shooting guard, he couldn't shoot or dribble, he will not be amongst the top 5 shooting guards, nor would he ever be considered because he is not a shooting guard, Kobe Thiel. Michael Dickerson, also not a shooting guard, although you could make a closer case for that than you could Hasan Adams. He will be on our small.
Yeah, I would say Michael Dickerson was a shooting guard.
Really?
Yeah, I would.
Interesting. All right. So he's going to be on your shooting guard list. All right. I got him on my small forward list then. All right. All right. You want to go from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5? Let's
go 5 to 1.
All right. Who do you got at 5?
For me, at number 5 is the guy that you just mentioned, Michael Dickerson.
Okay.
I just listen. I know he played with Miles Simon, and Miles was considered like the 2, but I felt like those 2 were kind of interchangeable at the 2 and 3 spot for college. And Mike, man, he had some big time games, an elite level talent in terms of athleticism, and could score. The only knock on Mike is it felt like he just kind of disappeared in those big games too many times for my liking. That's why he's at number 5.
I got him at, I'm going to have him on my small forward list. Mike D, one of the more underrated players in school history. Also somebody that would have had a top, he would have had a top 5, 6, 7 career in the NBA. The dude was dropping 19 points per game as 19 points per game before he had this weird groin injury. Steve Kerr was not a shooting guard at the University of Arizona. He was a point guard. We will not put him there. All right. I have an outside the box pick at number 5. Jared Bayless. Jared Bayless comes in as a freshman. I believe had the best freshman year in school history out before DeAndre Ayton. 21 points per game. If it wasn't for Kevin Love, he would have been the conference player of the year. We've never had a freshman come in, and he did this. This is also where he did this with Kevin O'Neal as his coach. Kevin O'Neal, who did not like anything about offense, and he still got 21 points per game. I go Jared Bayless at number 5. I like Jared Bayless.
Why do I feel like Jared Bayless was a point guard?
Because he never played point guard here.
Yeah, but he handled the ball a lot.
He had no wiggle. The reason he couldn't stick in the NBA is because he wasn't a point guard. He didn't really have any wiggle to it. He didn't think like a point guard. He was a scorer. He was a dude that put his head down and got to the hoop.
Okay.
I like Jared Bayless a lot. Phoenix native Jared Bayless, by the way.
For me, I'm going strictly off of U of A accomplishments. I'm not going off of NBA.
Right.
Okay. That's an important narrative here. But I have Gilbert Arenas.
Okay.
The number 4.
I have Gilbert Arenas on the list, but I have him one up. I have Salim at 4. I have Salim Stoudemire at 4. Here's my case for Salim Stoudemire. Again, first of all, Salim Stoudemire spent 3+ years being a malcontent to the point where Lute Olson tried to even move on from him after his junior year. He was suspended multiple times his senior year. Obviously, he was awesome. But the one thing about it, Salim, that bothers me to this day is that Salim did not want the shot again. Because when Salim checked out. That's what bothered me. He was clutch, but when he checked out, he checked out. He did not want that last shot against Illinois, and that's why the ball ended up with Hasan Adams at the top of the key. With that and some of the malcontents, I would put Salim Stoudemire at 4 just because I'm looking big picture with Salim. You think I'm wrong?
I do, but I will get to that in a second. Number 3 for me. Oh, I lost track of my list. Give me 1 second, actually. Yeah. Number 3 for me is Nick Johnson.
Really?
Yeah, Nick Johnson. Listen, man. Pound for pound, Nick Johnson as an all-around player was probably one of the best in school history. Like, he doesn't get as much love as he should. He was conference player of the year. Could jump out the gym, could block shots, could shoot from the outside. Just a good, solid, all-around player. We all love Nick Johnson when he was here, and he gets no love. I don't understand it. I don't get that one. He was
a very solid player. Yeah, like I said, Nick Johnson. I had Nick Johnson at 6. But yeah, if you want to put Nick Johnson in there, he was really good. He also defensively, he was fantastic. He was a little clunky offensively, but he was a really good player. There's no doubt about it. Nick Johnson. Plus, he repped the A very, very well. So I have no problem with that. At 3 for me, I have Gil. Gil to me was the most. When Gil stepped foot on campus at 17, Gil just looked different than everybody else out there. Gil was Gil was almost before his time. He was the MVP of the preseason NIT, basically as a 17-year-old. He was the best player, the most talented player on a team that I think is the best team in school history, conference freshman of the year. I think had he not been on such a loaded team, he probably would average 22, 23 per game. To me, the most physically gifted player on the perimeter that I've ever seen at the U of A. Never saw Sean Elliott.
What, Gilbert Arenas?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, but you just dogged out Salim Stoudemire for being a malcontent. Gilbert Arenas was just as much of a problem off the court.
He wasn't suspended, though. Stuff like
my guy. Listen. I used to work at Fox Sports Arizona with a guy by the name of Brett Hansen, who was the SID for that same basketball team under Gilbert Arenas. The stories. If you just mention Gilbert Arenas to Brett Hansen, he will walk away from you. Like, he doesn't want to talk about Gilbert. That was a problem.
It was immaturity from being young, though. Salim was a problem, though. Salim kept getting suspended. Gilbert wasn't getting suspended.
All right, number 2 overall, because I can't with you, Mike. Number
Miles
2 overall.
Simon.
No, number 2 overall for me is Khalid Reeves.
Okay.
Khalid Reeves was a baller, man.
I got Khalid at 1, so I'm totally cool with that.
Well, see, this is where our list is all janky because we didn't really solidify what we thought were 2s and 3s and what category we're going to put in everything. So that's probably a little problematic.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, either way, I think the top 2 are pretty easy in my opinion.
Not for me. Khalid Reeves is number 2 for me. Khalid was phenomenal. So
Khalid to me is the best shooting guard in school history. He averaged 24 points per game as a senior. Khalid was also somebody that you look back into in hindsight. He took a back seat when a lot of people wouldn't have, because he didn't just all of a sudden get 24 points per game type averages. He could have done that. Muehlbach always says that, and this is on a team that already had Chris Mills and Brian Williams. And he said when Khalid came on, he's like, whoa, this dude is different. Came out of Christ the King High School in New York, one of Lute's first McDonald's All-Americans, just smooth. A little bit before his time. Yeah. I think had he come around a little bit later on, he would have had a longer NBA career, but also a guy that just didn't really need to do, or the basketball just came easy to Khalid. And that's how he was able to do it. Basketball came easy. All right. Who you got at 1? I'm curious on that.
Yeah. For me, number 1 was Salim, because this is how I go about my list, Mike. It's not just about what you accomplished on the court. It's how did I feel when I watched a game that you played in? Are they memorable games? Like, is there something that I'm always going to try and take away from a specific player? And for me, pound for pound, Salim Stoudemire might have been the funnest basketball player we've ever had at the U of A. I mean, the shot making, the game winners. I mean, just the trash talk, the bravado. Like, I loved watching Salim. I know I might get skewered in the comments for this. I don't care. Saul loves him some Salim Stoudemire. And so he's number 1 on my list.
Forget about Salim. You don't have Miles Simon as one of the 5 best shooting guards in school history.
I actually had him as my small forward, so that's my bad.
Miles never once played small forward. He played shooting guard his entire career here at the U of A from his freshman to his senior year.
Can I say something a little sus?
Sure.
I think that Miles Simon outside of the NCAA tournament run was all right.
He was a first-team All-American as a senior. Arizona's had 6 first-team All-Americans, and he was that as a senior. He came in and started immediately as a freshman, something that never happened.
He hit the 3/4 court buzzer beater against Cincinnati. Like, I get it.
So you don't.
I thought Miles was really good.
Interesting. Interesting. That takes me aback a little bit. All right. Now, so that's our list.
It is sus. Hey, listen, I fully acknowledge that this is such a sus take. And
no, I don't care about the Salim. I care about the Miles part. The Miles.
No, I know. That's what people are coming after me for.
Right. I mean, Miles. I mean, you just talked about Salim with big moments. Miles had a lot bigger moments than Salim did. I mean, he just did, bro. He just did, whether it's Kentucky, North Carolina, Kansas. I mean, Miles, Arizona's, you got one Final Four MVP, and that's Miles Simon. I mean, Salim never even made a Final Four.
Salim didn't play with like 3 other NBA players on his roster either that were like top tier.
I mean, Salim was on teams that had, Channing Frye, Andre Iguodala. I mean, dudes like that. Jason Gardner, Channing Frye, Luke Walton. I mean, these were teams. He had multiple seasons where they went in as a 1 seed. So,
okay. I'm just saying this is my list, Mike.
No, it's your list, not mine. I agree. I'm happy that Miles Simon's jersey is retired, though. We do very much like that. Now, Erica L. Day. We need to talk about Erica L. Day here for a second. She is doing yeoman's work with because I have Matherin at small forward.
See, that's what we should have done before this, though. Is determine who was where in what position. Because I think there was guys that were hybrids. Like Arizona, they used to call us point guard U. I feel like you can also call us tweener U, because I can't remember another program in the country that has had so many players that were in between positions in America. Like the list goes: Raleigh Elkins, Alonzo Trier, Michael Dickerson, Miles Simon. Like the list goes on and on and on and on. Like you don't know what position these guys were because they were in between positions, so you could play them in a variety of different spots.
Right. All right. Now, Erica L. Day. Let's allow Erica L. Day to join the chat. First of all, we got to make fun of Erica L. Day for a moment. Hello, Erica. How are you?
Hey, squad. I'm good. How are you?
Look at that sexy ass mic right now. You hear that?
Isn't it good?
Crisp.
It looks very good. Now, Erica, you need to figure out one thing when you go up to Phoenix. You are allowed to use any restroom you want in Phoenix. You don't have to keep messaging me asking me if you're allowed to use restrooms in Phoenix.
I would like to explain myself a little more, because I feel like Mike does me a disservice and really takes things out of context, because the rule sheet said I had to stay in my assigned seat. And I was like, Mike, am I allowed to go to the bathroom?
Yes, you're allowed to go to the bathroom.
Well, it said to stay in my assigned seat. I'm a rule follower.
Also, this wasn't the first time this week you asked me where you could use the restroom. So, she's getting up to cover a Merc presser, and she's like, I got to go to the bathroom. Where can I go to the bathroom? I don't know. You can go anywhere.
I wasn't allowed in the arena yet, Mike. I was downtown. I'm unfamiliar with the area.
You think Mike has been downtown? Mike comes up like once a
there's
year.
An office.
Seriously, we literally have an office downtown, 2 blocks away from the arena.
I also didn't have your location until after media day was over. So
how long have you had my phone number?
I was nervous, Saul. Okay,
no.
I was just trying.
And so she's
just trying.
I'm so nervous. I'm going to ask the guy from Tucson where to go in Phoenix.
Yes,
I should have texted Jacob Franklin, honestly.
But Saul, as the GM of PHNX Sports, you can verify that she is allowed to use public restrooms at the Merc game. This is true.
1,000,000%. Yeah, those times of people being blocked from using specific bathrooms that are long gone.
Yeah,
I can confirm.
They welcome
as a black man. I can confirm this.
They welcome you. Also, you know what else they welcome up in Phoenix? The BetMGM Sportsbook app. Listen, when Erica L. Day comes on here, the immediate thing you think about is women's basketball and probably the BetMGM Sportsbook app, because they are both great and they are both budding. Here's the deal with the BetMGM Sportsbook app, though. Sign up for BetMGM. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $10. You'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if the bet loses. Check out the show notes for full details. And let's hear from T-Mac denier Shane Diefenbach with the disclaimer.
Bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
All right, guys, I got a question that I need both of you to answer for me, and then I'm going to let you take it from there. WNBA draft. I do not understand the WNBA draft. They draft people and then they cut them within 5 seconds. How does this work? Why does this happen? How does this work? Why is this a thing?
I know you're talking about Esmery and Helena.
Yes.
There's just not enough not enough spots is the reality. The development doesn't work the same way it does in the NBA for the WNBA. So these girls just don't have a spot to maintain. Unfortunately, it's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. I looked at a graphic this morning, and there are no third-round picks that made a team. So it's not like this is uncommon. This is the norm for the league. Hopefully, with the 2 expansion teams in the next coming years, that changes a little bit, and there's room for a few more Wildcats in the league. Because right now there's some Wildcats that probably should be in those developmental spots, and they don't exist.
Yeah, I mean the WNBA structure is a little wonky. It doesn't make sense. 32 games is all well and good. You know, people talk about the equality for women in pay and stuff like that in the league, and I agree completely. But that equality needs to come with obviously a longer season. They're not playing 82; they're playing 32, and it's so truncated because they got to fit it into like a 3 or 4 month window before they get back to other things, or they have to go overseas and play, especially with the college basketball season starting up. And it's just really odd, and it's really weird. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I feel like the WNBA should be a minimum 50 games. I don't think it should be 32. And I definitely feel like if they do that, they're going to get they could even widen up the rosters a little bit. Like in the NBA, they've increased the rosters. Why can't they do that for the WNBA?
Well, that was going to be my next question. And Kobe,
two-way contracts. There's no two-way contracts in the WNBA. There should be.
Yeah, this was going to be my next question. Why do the roster sizes increase later but are at 12 now? That's the part that I don't get. What am I missing?
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. There's so many decisions that the WNBA has made in its existence that make zero sense at all.
Now,
even recently with the traveling, I know that they're phasing in charter travel, and like the league players are generally pretty unhappy with seeing players on a other team get better opportunities than them when they're talking about phasing this travel in for the league as a whole. And now you're seeing only select teams get it, and it's not going to work out well in the long run for the league.
This is why the listeners are so much smarter than me, because this is going to be my next question. I got to ask you guys this. The hope here is that Caitlin Clark brings enough of a boost. How much of an impact can Caitlin Clark's success have on turning the WNBA mainstream, getting more accommodations? How big of an impact can she have there?
Early on, a huge impact. Now, can that be maintained? And that's only going to be maintained based on her ability to maintain it. Like if she gets to the W and she, kind of falters off a little bit, then all that momentum is going to be gone rather quickly. So it's can they capitalize on this? But the great thing is that other athletes and other stars in the league are also trying to capitalize off of what Caitlin Clark and the attention that she's bringing to the league right now. So like when Diana Taurasi says what she says and she goes viral and people are hating her, that's okay, because all press is good press right now at the moment, and you need the WNBA to be on everybody's forefront as much as possible. So it's good business to be able to have conversations. Like when's the last time we had a debate about women's basketball at the WNBA level nationally? Like it barely ever happens. And now in the last couple months, we've had multiple conversations. We've seen it all over ESPN, Fox. Like the Caitlin Clark effect is real. The Angel Reese effect is real. Look at Chicago. Like Chicago, our counterparts at CHGO put out a video of Angel Reese. I forgot what it was in regards to. It had like 1 million views. Like, so
right.
Like there's a very real attraction to women's basketball right now that it has never really existed before. A lot of people kind of dismissed women's basketball because they were like, they had their own sexist agenda. But now you're starting to realize, like, not only are the players that are coming in like Clayton Clark and Angel Reese really good, but the players that existed before them for the last 20 plus years are phenomenal as well, if not way better. Like, so it's all coming together, which is great. You need that to happen, though. And like, let's go back to the NBA. This is not just a woman thing, right? This is a male thing too. Before, as the NBA was growing, they were struggling. The finals weren't even on TV. Nobody was really watching those games. They were all on tape delay. And then what happened? Magic and Bird came into the fold and changed everything. And now the NBA is the way it is today. You need somebody to set those trends and change the game up every now and then. And Caitlin Clark is that bell cow right now.
All right, so let's talk about players currently, battling now. Esmery Martinez, Helena Puello. Do you eventually see them making their way onto a WNBA roster, Erica Elday?
Esmery specifically, yes. Helena is definitely bigger question mark in my opinion. I'd wonder how much she truly desires to play in the WNBA, considering she's from Europe and the opportunities to make more money are greater there. She
Yeah.
kind of has her pick of the lot in terms of European teams as well. She is that good. Like, European teams want her. So she has her pick of the lot. She's going to make a lot of money and she's going to succeed overseas. So it would be my number one question on if she really wants to return to the United States to play professionally.
Now, Ari McDonald, we were texting back and forth a little bit about her. Fill me in on Ari McDonald and, kind of just, go ahead.
I was kind of depressed because on Friday, the Mercury is just kind of letting Ari get in her spots. And I've been watching Ari play basketball for quite some time now. And I just watched her heat up. Like, I felt like I was watching Ari as a Wildcat again. You don't get that opportunity. I don't think she got that same opportunity in Atlanta. So I think that her fit with the Sparks is a little bit better. And she is going to have a little bit of a better role and a better opportunity to succeed with the teammates that she has. That being said, though, she's not going to start for the Sparks. I think it's almost obvious. She was the starting point guard for
What's
the
the
Atlanta
problem?
Dream
Is
and
she just too small?
Her size, I do believe, is the biggest attributing factor to the reason she can't start. Girl can make shots, but she is shorter than everyone else on the court, and it's a consistent problem for her. She's definitely worked on her athleticism in terms of like rebounding and being able to stretch for the ball, but she just is too small.
Right.
She needs to watch some Jalen Brunson film is what she needs to do, because
Good
Jalen
way of putting
Brunson,
it.
super small, but is able to find those spots. Isaiah Thomas, same thing. I'm going with the lefties, obviously. Guys that are smaller than your normal, league
Figure out how
height.
to use their body.
Yeah, you just got to, and Ari has always been, she's always thrived off her quickness. But the problem is when you get to the WNBA, you're going to meet a lot of people that have that same kind of quickness. So then what else can you do? And you got to be crafty, you got to be smart, and you got to be physical. And I don't mean physical in terms of a strength sense. I mean physical in terms of knowing how to use your body to create angles that are going to be able to give you the best shot possible. And Ari's still learning that. And going back to the Helena Puello comment, I agree. I don't think she should even waste her time at the WNBA level. I think we have this perception, especially here in America, that our leagues are the best leagues ever. And they are. Don't get me wrong. The WNBA is a little different, though, because you're going to make more money overseas. There's a reason why, Brittany Griner went overseas and Diana Taurasi went overseas. If you ever have a chance to listen to Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird on a 30 for 30 podcast talking about their experience in Russia playing basketball, it's phenomenal. It's amazing. But they have to do it to make ends meet. I mean, you think about it, like the average WNBA salary right now, I think, is just barely over $70K. Like, right. And I know, like, that sounds like a lot to some people, and I'm not saying it's not, but you're talking about traveling. If you get traded, think about this. If you were making $50,000 to $70,000 right now as we speak, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, imagine if your company was like, okay, we're moving you to Memphis at the drop of a hat, and now you have to find an apartment. You better hope you have some money, some residual income that you can put down a deposit for a new apartment, like all this other stuff that goes along with that. That is very hard to manage at that salary level, as opposed to, Devin Booker gets traded to, wherever. Well, he's got millions of dollars. He's got no worries. Like, he's just worried about fitting in with the team. He's not literally worried about the logistics of all. So, like, I don't think people really realize that at a high level yet.
Or there's also, I mean, think about it, just the cost of living in different places. It's a lot more expensive to live in California than it is, say, Arizona. So that 55 does not go nearly as far in Arizona as it does in California. So
no, you're living in a cardboard box if you're making 55 in California.
Correct.
1,000,000%.
Literally. Now, Erica, tell us when you, we need people. I had some people tweeting at me. When can they expect to see Erica L. Day on with PHNX Mercury? So they can put down
I'm on. You absolutely do need to put this on your calendar. It's every Monday and Thursday at 6:00. Me and Steven do a great job, in my professional opinion, I'd say, of breaking down what's to come from the Mercury. I'm pretty excited about this season. Listen, we play the Aces today, okay? We're playing without Brittany Griner. It's the first game of the season. We have a lot of new pieces. Am I expecting a win today? To put it frank with you, no. But am I expecting for it to be a really fun season? Yes. So I think you should head over on Mondays and Thursdays at 6:00 and watch that.
All right, Saul Bookman, any new PHNX events coming up? There's always something around the corner, it appears.
No, actually, right now we're kind of in a little bit of a dead time. We are working on some Phoenix Mercury takeovers that will be coming about, and we have some travel news. I'm actually, you know what? Listen, I'm going to ask everybody in the chat a favor, if you guys wouldn't mind. If you would be so kind as to either DM me on Instagram, because I know you have to have a blue check mark to DM people on Twitter. So you can find me on Instagram.
Are you a check mark guy on Twitter?
I am. It's just good business, Mike. Sorry,
Mike, you're the only one.
I don't want to give Elon my money, but I'll put the blue check mark.
I get it.
Yeah, you're the only one without the check, Mike.
Yeah. You just got checked, by the way.
I'm a man of the people.
Bye. Okay. Anyway, what I was going to say is, if anybody would be interested in learning more about road trips, and specifically, where would you like to go when it comes to U of A sports, whether it be football or basketball? I've largely entertained the idea of going out to Kansas for a Jayhawk Wildcats takeover out at the Fog. I think that would be electric. Flying into Kansas City as a group, eating some great barbecue, going down to Lawrence, stomping the Jayhawks. I think that's a great weekend. I don't know. You guys all tell me if you're interested, you want to learn some more, hit me up in my DMs, because I'm curious to find out how many people would genuinely be interested. Even if you just hit my DMs with a thumbs up, I'm cool with that.
That's where we're at. All right. Very, very good stuff. All right. Now, let's see here. So Thursday, Erica all day back. Saul Bookman back on Thursday as well. Big Thursdays. But on that note, though, did a lot of work here, did a lot of damage. We will be back with you tomorrow, though, for Erica all day. The great Saul Bookman. What's your middle name again?
I'm not telling you.
How about
you can
Saul?
just call it, my middle name starts with an M, so you can just call
his middle name is underscore Saul _Bookman.
There you go, Saul.
Because I was just going to say Saul U Bookman, Saul unknown Bookman. If you didn't give me that, so Saul M. Oh, I bet it's Matthew. Saul M. Bookman. All right, and the great Jacob Franklin behind the scenes. Appreciate you all. You're all smarter than me. That's why I rely on you. We will be back with you tomorrow. You've been listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.